like me, who loves to do its own things, its own ways. I love to choose the new project. I'm going to create a new project. Okay, now from here, I'm going to give it a name. Let's say slider tutorial. So I'm going to choose 1400 pixel, let's say by 500. Okay, or let me say 600. Okay, now I'm going to choose full width. Now click on create, and the next thing you're going to have here is just this. Now this Smart Slider has actually created a simple way by which you can understand what you're doing. Okay, now don't be intimidated with everything you see down here. Okay, now this is just a simple slider, which is a simple and a minimalistic slider. Actually, there are sometimes we overdo. So for you to achieve something like this or better than this, the first thing you need to do, the first thing you need is high quality photos. Okay, because stretching the photo outside its own pixel range might not actually give you the best result. So without wasting much of our time, just let me show you the basic things what you need to do. Okay. Now, instead of clicking on slide one, first thing you need to do is to click on a slide. Okay. Now I want you to choose blank. Now after choosing blank, you're going to see this slide here. Okay. Now you can see before you could see 3 to 4, but this is actually going to give you the full control over what you need to do. Now click on edit. Now the first thing you need to do, first you need to import pictures. Now that is if you want to use images as the background, and if you want to use color as background, it's also possible. Now there's one thing I want you to understand on that Smart Slider. Smart Slider actually works like Elementor because you have this option of choosing a row. Now which other slider designer doesn't have, like revolution slider. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is, first, before you start doing anything here, okay, first thing I want you to do is to first ensure that you is to first decide what you want to use as the background. Now you can see actually there are some icon identification which was not properly done in this slider, but I want to believe in the nearest future you're going to see more advancement in this. Okay, because this has to be echoed more than this. Okay, now first thing I want you to do is to give your title, your slide a title. Now this is going to help your SEO for search engine optimization. Now let's say homepage slider landing landing page. Okay, now the description is going to help you for SEO the more. Let's say this is the first slider you see on the home page. Welcome to my world. Now the first thing done now, and these are the functions where if you want all these things to be hidden on the the mobile, on the mobile, on the tablet, on the PC. So that's the now first thing you can just leave. You can leave this out. We are not here. Now the next thing we want you to do is to click on start. That is, we want to define what we want to use for the background. Now if you want to choose the color, now this section, okay, answers to that. So even though you have a color scheme you already copied, let's say you have 060 C3E. Okay, now this is going to give you what you want, and you can choose gradient. Okay, now you can also choose the color that ends this. Let's say you want to choose D7. Now this is going to be the end. You can choose a lot of different designs. So you can see this color is actually cool, so you can work on this if that's what you want. Now one of the freedom you are given in this section is this. Now you can actually decide to change once you click on the element that you're already working on, this dialog box is going to show up. Okay, now you can see, you can make some effect, you can make changes as you want. Okay, now the freedom which you have here is because you can install rows. That is, you can actually define your content to be on the left hand side or on the right hand side, and also you have the liberty of just dragging anything in and it's going to work out. Okay, but the best practice and the best mode for you to work on this is just to click on rows, now drag. So once you do this, so you have control, just as you have control in element. Okay, just as doing this, you can choose section. You can choose a section. You can choose to drag to the left, drag to the right, ensure it depends on the kind of space you want. So first, I would like to leave this as this, and there are some functions, there are some functionalities there which you might want to play with, but for now, let's just go with this, and let's, now as you can see, when you hover this, you can see it's the full row, and you can play with the sections. Okay, now also when you go straight in, you can see columns. Okay, that is in rows you can have columns. Okay, now I want you to click on columns here. You have to actually over it uh, in a gentle mode. Okay, now style. Now let's say we want to add you want to style the left hand side of the column. Now you can choose a background color. Can you see this is taking shape already? Now you can choose gradient as you want. You can choose box shadow. I actually love this box shadow, but you have to give it a value. Okay, give it a value, give it a value. Okay, so you can play with all these functions you have here. Okay, padding. Now this is it's going to be padded. Let's say we have 15, 15, 15, and 15. Okay, that is going to give you the inner gap. Okay, so as for all your content not to be shifted to the edges. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so we have these, we have, so now let's try to add things. Now you can see this is the space you have in this section here. Now this is showing you the paddings which you've already had. Now first thing you need to do, you need some basic things, which is the header, and you need some description text, and possibly some you can add any button you want, but these are the major basic things you can actually need. Okay, but if you want to expand this, you can see you have a lot of things you can import here. So my slider is one of the best plugin out there you can use to design a carousel, a header, or anything you want to design. Okay, now header, you have to drag it here inside. Now you can change what you have here. Let's say welcome, welcome. Let's say um, my world. Okay, now you can do this, you can do any other thing you want, you can do anything you want. Okay, now style, you can decide to make these you can change this color, you can say C3E. Okay, now as you can see, now you can align these to the left hand side. Now okay, so after having done that, then you can also change the font as well. You can clear all this, and you can choose, you can design to choose chewy, and you can design to do any of the so let's say you want to increase this size to, let's say, 62. Okay, so as for it to be highly emphasized, and you can choose the line height to be anything you want. Okay, so now the first thing, or let me say the next thing I want us to do, is for us to do some other things too. Okay, so I've done this. Let's say this font is too big. Let's say we want to say 56. Okay, now, and I want us to add some other styling there. Now you can actually bring out this, put it at the top, and you can say we are waiting, we are waiting for you. Okay, so want to add some styling to this, and good, let's say left, indented left. Now you can add a distinctive color that is going to speak out. Okay, let's say you want to add this color. I actually want yellow. Okay, but this yellow is not actually voicing out. Good, I think we get in there. Good, boom. So let's say you want to choose above. Oh no, this is actually meant for okay. So that you can choose Glory Hallelujah as a font. So now choose this. Now good. So you can increase the font as you wish. You can, but I think okay, good. This is more emphasized now. So the next thing you can do, you can actually now drag this inner section again. But I want you to actually add gap in between this, so you can make the line height to be 2, so as to give it a proper spacing. And I want you to change the font of these, let's say, to these. Okay, okay, let's just use something lighter. Okay, let's say D7. Oh, sorry, let's look for something darker than this. Okay, good, this is nice. Good, set of 3s and FF. Okay, So now, so you can now copy your, let's say you want to use lorem ipsum. So let's say you want to copy this. Okay, so let's say you want to copy these content, paste. Good. So you can also actually add line spacing so as to make all these things properly seen. Okay, you can even make it this. Okay, so once that is done, so the next other thing you can do, you can see the padding for this column makes it highly distinctive, and the edges are not touching anywhere. Okay, so I haven't done that. The next thing you want to add is button. So you can drag a button here, and first there is no space in between these, so you might actually want to click on this style. So the margin, so you can actually increase the margin. So this is, I think this is the margin to the top. Yeah, this is margin to the top. Let's say 30, because I actually want something distinctive. So you can move these to the left. Okay, oh sorry, the position of, okay, now to move this you just have to click on this. Okay, so the next thing you can do now, as you can see, you are having a slider here, and let's see as this is going to look like. Okay, so now this is how it's going to look now, but you can see there is no much liveliness in this, so you can actually design to add animations to this. Okay, so now what you need to do is just to come down here, click on timeline, and as you can see there is no something there are nothing hidden here. So now on the row, so we can start our designs from the column. Okay, now you can see you can choose fade, so this can be blurred, this can fade, you can choose anything you want. Okay, left fade, okay, just anything you want. Okay, now you can choose the left fade here, and you can also leave it like this. First, let's add all the animations. Second, the texts at the top here. Okay, let's add something, let's say moving from the left. Okay, let's leave that to heading, let's say moving from the left as well. Texts, let's say moving from the left as well. And the button, let's say should just fade. Okay, blur. So let's choose that. Okay, so now having done this, you can see if you have to play this, you can see they all came in from the same direction. Now what we wanted to do is to add some delays. Okay, there's not a special, and it's very simple. So all what you just need to do is just, let's give ourselves more space here. Okay, I think we can give ourselves more space. Okay, so as for us to see what we're doing, so now let's, the colon, let's say there's a little bit of delay. Now let's add 200, that's 400, that will be 600, that will be 800. Okay, now let's play this and see. So you can see this is nice. So let's try to view how this is going to be. Okay, so you can see this is nice. Now let's try to insert this in our page here. Okay, now without much of emphasis, let's refresh this, because okay, so now I will refresh this. Let's say let's delete this and let's click on this section. So good. So I haven't gotten this section, so you can click here and you're going to type smart. So the smart slider which you've installed is going to appear here, and you can drag the slider here, and you can choose the slider which you have already worked on. Click on this, click on insert. Okay, so this is going to insert your slider, as you can see. So let's click on preview changes and let's see how it's going to look like. Okay, now you can see this is full width, and this looks amazing. So now let's not try to see something here. The next time we want to see is the mobile responsiveness. Okay, now you can see what you need to do to get to this stage. It's just for you to click on, right click your Chrome. Okay, choose, so you can choose inspect and click the middle here. You can see this actually looks okay as well, but this the reason why this works best for us is because we actually we used a color background. Okay, now let's talk about the mobile responsivity. Okay, now the mobile responsiveness can be altered or changed if you go straight here. Now this is going to display to you what you need to see. Now this is showing how it's going to display. Okay, now for you to make this mobile responsive, or for you to change this to the proper size, because actually this displays well on mobile, but there are more other things that can be done to this. Okay, you can click on content first. You have so many things you can click on. You can click here, but this is going to be talking about the full slide. Okay, but we don't need to alter anything on the slide. Okay, but you have to look for content. Now once you see the content, you can see this is aligned to this side. You can choose different ways by which you want it aligned. Okay, but major places where you have issues, it's your style. Okay, now go straight and look for where you can see the scale. Okay, this is what's going to set it for you. So altering this, I get what I'm saying, and with the adaptive on, you can see this adaptiveness makes it to look or to conform to your mobile screen size. Okay, now from what you saw before to what we have here, you can see there are big differences, and this looks more matured. Okay, so put 70. This looks okay, and if you want to still reduce it than this, you can choose 60. So now that's just the only thing you need to do here, and click on save. So you can see now. Let's try to go back to this and let's refresh this page. Okay, sorry. Okay, I think we have saved it. So let's try to refresh this and try to inspect to check on the mobile screen. You can see this is actually seen in just one scroll. Okay, actually different from how it was before taking the full screen, of our mobile phone. So this is more mature. Now I would like to just change some simple things and show you some basic things of here for when you want to use images. So this is for if you want to use picture. So let's try to use image. Okay, so let's clear all this. Let's clear everything here. Let's clear everything here as well. Let's remove these, and let's say okay, now we want to use a picture background. Okay, now what you need to do is to click here and select your file which you want to install. So let's say I want to install this image. Okay, I'm looking for a full-blown image which I can actually use. So let's say I want to use this library image. Okay, now I haven't inserted the bookshelf. So what we are going to have here is just this. Now, so this green button, or let me say this green dot you can see on top of this, is just to show you what you want displayed. Okay, on this section, maybe you want the top right, top left, but using the XY coordinates. Okay, so now you can go down and you can choose the opacity if you want to increase the opacity of the image or something. So now, but for this, let's say the client say he or she wants to have let's say he or she wants to have this image fully displayed, and you should know that when it comes to this, you'll have to use okay. When you want to work with images as the background of any of your slide, the first thing you need to understand is there are sometimes your client might want the image to display. So, and previously we used colors to make our background, but now we are going to use image. Now there are sometimes the client might want you to use the full image as the background, and without adding any blurry, any opacity or anything. Now the best thing you can do is this. Let me say the best practice and the etiquette or the ethics of designing this is to ensure that anything you're going to put as a background displays. But there are ways by which you can actually make it to stand out both on mobile, your PC and your tablet phones. Okay, so what you can do without adding this, without adding opacity, without toying with this, without toying on the blur something, the best you can do is just for you to just add something. I want you to add just key bonds. Okay, first let's quickly add this. Now you can actually choose the best. Let's say downscale left, upscale, upscale left. It depends on what you want. Okay, now let's say let's choose the downscale. Okay, and choose apply. So that's the only thing you can, and you can say slow, and the strength, let's say soft. Okay, now you can close this and click on save. That's the first thing you need to do. Now I haven't done this, so the next thing you want to do is to add content on it. Now, as I've told you before, you have to use this row. Okay, now it depends on what you want to do. Actually, the right hand side of this, let's say the right hand side of this picture, okay, is actually loaded with stuff, so it won't do any harm if you try to uh, if you try to add the designs from here, from this column down to this end here. Okay, now the reason why I actually said this is because checking through the content of everything here can actually be seen. It's quite it's big and stuff like that. So now what we can do right here is for us to add all our headings and everything. Now if we're actually adding header stuffs, we're adding this, we're adding a button, actually this might look okay, but what happens in when we are trying to use something, this doesn't look distinctive. Actually this might look okay to you, but this is not actually distinctive at all, because okay, this is not matured at all. Okay, now the best way you can go about this is just first let's delete all this, let's delete all this, let's delete all this. Okay, so the best thing you can do, I haven't gotten this, is for you to do this. Click on columns, now click on style, let's add a background. So let's give it a background, let's say this. Okay, or let's say let's add some other things to it. Good, so let's leave it like this, and let's make sure the paddings are okay. Paddings, okay, yeah, I think this 1010 is actually okay. So good. So next thing, you can start adding your images. You can, let's say you want to add a logo. Good, so you can actually choose your logo here. So let's say upload files. So good, so this is our logo. So as you can see, this logo looks okay, but it's somehow too big. But don't worry, we're going to, so we can, so let's say you want to use it 50% by 50%, or let's say 50% by 50%. Okay, so or this might just be 20, why this is 20. Okay, so so once you click this, it changes it to the align left. Okay, so now you can add your headings. Now add your headings, add the description, and add the button. Good, so by adding the button and this, sorry, let's quickly add a margin. Margin top is at 30. So you can see this is quite okay, but there's a way you can actually make this so as for what you have at the top not to interfere with what you have beneath. Okay, so what you can actually do is for you to apply gradients. Okay, now so as for part of this background to also be visible, so you can see this is the icing on the cake. You can see the text are visible, the image are also visible. This is how the mobile conformity is. Let's go back and check again. This is the desktop view. Good, so now we can actually make this more better than this. So what you need to do is to look for the content and choose 60 here, right here. Good. So you can see this looks quite okay. So let's click on save, and let's try to check through our website again and see how it's going to look like. Now let's refresh. So this is how it's going to look. You can see the animations quite okay. Now let's click on inspect, and let's see how this is. As you can see, the image is displayed fine in just a frame, and the text are quite visible, and the button and everything, goes well with each other.